Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to bring in the 11-game NBA main slate on Monday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings, and I'm now making videos for NBA Top Shot as well. If you're not familiar with NBA Top Shot, it's basically virtual trading cards, virtual moments. I have a bunch of videos up explaining, Top Shot as well as, other moments that I've invested in. If you guys are curious about learning more about NBA Top Shot. If you're unable to watch his YouTube videos, I also upload an Apple podcast. We'll link down below. It's called the DKDFS Show. If you're interested in signing up for premium content, I offer that on patreon.com, an esports package, which includes CSGO and Call of Duty, and an NBA package as well. And finally, I want to thank Prize Picks for sponsoring the show. If you guys are not familiar with Prize Picks, or your first time watching these videos, the idea is you take over/under on fantasy points. And these lines will move throughout the day. So if there's one that you like, right now, you can take it, right? So for example, if you think Bradley Beal is not going to play, you're going to want to take the over on Russell Westbrook, right? Because if that game stays close, most likely Russell Westbrook will score more than 52 points if Bradley Beal does not play. So that's just one example right there, right? If you have a hunch that Beal maybe doesn't play, then obviously, again, that Westbrook line would look good. And you can mix and match sports. They have college basketball. They already have stuff up. Again, they have esports. So if you guys want to sign up, you can just go DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word, link down below. You will get a 100% match up to $100. You put $100 in, you get $200 to play with. And yeah, with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So before I talk about players and their prices for this 11-game slate, we can look back lineup here from Sunday. And I guess real quick before we get into that, I just want to bring up one thing here. Yeah, so the reason I like doing these lineup reviews each and every night is because I like seeing myself looking back at my lineup and seeing, where I was right, where I was wrong, where I got lucky, where I got unlucky. And, if I got hit with bad variance, if I got unlucky, tilt a little bit, right? Because I have a lot of money on the line each and every night. And, random blowouts, random foul trouble, that stuff will kill you. And that's stuff that is unpredictable. And I know, right? That happens to everyone. I'm not saying it doesn't. I get people saying, oh, you think you're the most unlucky player in the world? No, not at all. I know bad variance happens to everyone. All I'm saying is, it's almost like a venting, right? I can tilt a little bit about the night. I got unlucky in these spots, and yeah, have a little bit of fun with that. I know you guys like the tilting, but man, some of you guys are ruthless online. The amount of messages, DMs I've gotten, just saying terrible stuff. It's wow. If you really don't like the lineup reviews that bad, there are a ton of other YouTubers out there that won't even look at how they did, won't even show you how they did the night before. They'll just go on to the next slate. If that's what you want, fine, right? There's a lot of other guys that do that. The reason I do this every night is I want to show you guys that I put my money where my mouth is, right? I'm playing big money every night. And yeah, so that's really it, guys. All right, so let's go over my lineup really quick here. And this was a super, super low scoring slate. Ugly slate. Let's go over my lineup. So Trae Young, Van Fleet, Gary Trent Jr., Siakam, Aaron Baines, RJ Hampton, OG Anunoby, and Clint Capella. So, I was playing the Toronto chalk. In the high dollar stuff, everyone was chalk. So crazy. Van Fleet, 90% owned. Gary Trent Jr., 77%. Pascal Siakam, 86%. Aaron Baines, 45%. OG Anunoby, 60%. So I played the chalk. I got a little bit different. Instead of going to Jokic or Kuzma, I went to the Atlanta guys because I knew they were coming at a lot lower ownership. Unfortunately, that game was a blowout, right? So Trae Young, Clint Capella both didn't get there. But again, that was a shot I was willing to take in a 3-game slate. And I used RJ Hampton for value just because there was no value on the slate. There really wasn't. That's why Baines was 45% owned. I think KCP was 50%. There was just absolutely no value. So yeah, again, I took a risk there with getting different with the Hawks. It didn't work out, but again, that was a risk I was willing to take on this 3-game slate. So that is it for the look back, guys. Let's move on to this 11-game slate. And let's start off with, let's first go over the Vegas odds, actually. So Let's see. I think we have 3 of the 11 games out right now. Pelicans and Celtics at 230.5 over under. The Celtics are 4-point favorites. Raptors and Pistons at 219 over under. The Raptors 4.5-point favorites. And Kings Spurs 228 over under. The Spurs are 2.5-point favorites. So let's start off with the Pacers and the Wizards. So good matchup here for the Pacers. Domantas Sabonis at the top at 9.6. Definitely in play because of the matchup. With LeVert, in this offense, he's definitely taking a hit usage-wise. So not a priority play for me, but viable. With Brogdon versus LeVert, I think Brogdon's a little bit safer right now. Compared to LeVert, both should play mid-30s minutes in a close game. So both guys are viable. I think I would lean Brogdon if you're going for more of the cash game play. And last guy I'll mention here is Miles Turner because of the price point plus the minutes. He's playing about 30 minutes. Now, he really gets there with the blocks, right? 7 blocks last game. That's why he had 40 fantasy points. 5 blocks. Now, he's a good shot blocker, but is he going to continue to average like 5 blocks a game? I mean, he's almost really has been. So, yeah, I think Turner is fine. But in a game where he only has 1 or 2 blocks, then he's probably not going to get there. So that's my only issue with playing Miles Turner is you're really relying on him getting at least a couple blocks for you. Moving on to the Wizards. So Russell Westbrook, if there's no Brad Beal, is one of the clearest benefits of the slate. Super high usage guy, especially if Beal's off the court. So even in a bad matchup, would love Westbrook without Beal. And then we'd just keep an eye on the starting lineup news. So I know Jerome Robinson played a bit once Beal went down. I mean, we have Garrison Matthews who will play minutes, but super reliant on the scoring. As far as the bigs go, it's like a 3-headed monster with Len, Lopez, and now Daniel Gafford in there. I don't think I can do it. So really, for me, it's Westbrook, maybe one value guard depending on the starting lineup, and that's it if Beal is out. If Beal's in, there's not much here I like. I would probably be able to stay away from Washington. Let's move on to New Orleans and Boston. So the big news that I keep eyeing is Lonzo Ball. If he's out, I think NAW should play mid-30s minutes. He's played 39, 32 minutes last couple games. You guys know I'm a huge NAW fan. I don't love the price, don't love the matchup, but he's still in play if Lonzo's out because minutes, plus, again, he's an aggressive player in the offensive end. Now, Zion Williamson, I think will go overlooked, but he continues to put up big performance after big performance. Even though the matchup's not necessarily the best, Zion is just on fire right now. So I am perfectly fine getting to Zion. Do prefer him to Ingram. Value-wise, Adams is just like a fair play. Should play around 30-ish minutes. Decent point per minute guy. Bledsoe has been terrible besides, 2 games ago. He's just been in the teens fantasy point-wise. But if there's no Lonzo Ball, he should play mid-30s minutes. So, yeah, you can take a shot on him. But, yeah, not much. Kira Lewis, I will mention, off the bench, he's actually been playing pretty well, the rookie. Should get around 20 minutes if there's no Lonzo Ball if you want to get a really risky for tournaments. But, again, that's not something I can really recommend with confidence. Moving on to the Boston Celtics. So, the top 3 guys here, Tatum, Brown, and Walker. I think Jason Tatum's probably the guy, right? 8.6K, good matchup here. Should play big minutes. Played 38 minutes the last game. So, yeah, I do like Tatum. I think I do prefer him to Brown. Not saying Brown's out of play, but, again, I think I would give the edge there to Tatum. Kemba Walker at 6'8" just seems like a fair play. Robert Williams is in play for tournaments. He's still not playing huge minutes. I'm expecting around mid to high 20s minutes. He's a really good point per minute guy. Again, he's had 5 blocks, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 2 steals. He's a guy that can get those peripheral stats. But yeah, just more of a tournament play because the price point. Let's see. Other than that, keep an eye on Evan Fournier. If he's available, that kind of just takes all the other secondary guys out of play for Boston. Grant Williams has been playing some of the backup 5. He's played 31 and 25 minutes last couple of games. Not a great point per minute guy, but if there's not a ton of value opens up throughout the day, then yeah, I could see getting to him. Minnesota, Brooklyn. So the top 3 guys are all in play, but Cat's the guy I like the best. A great matchup here. Should play big minutes against this last game. Was a blowout. Again, still tilting about that because could have had a massive night yesterday if that game stayed close. But yeah, Karl Anthony Towns is a guy that I don't know if it's going to be super popular. But again, massive minutes, good matchup. As long as this game stays close, I do like Cat at the top. With Edwards and Beasley, these are the clear, number 2, number 3 guys in the offense. Beasley in his first game back, played terrible, shot 4 of 17. But again, he's not afraid to shoot the ball. Same with Anthony Edwards. Now, again, both these guys are a little more reliant on the scoring, but they're in play if you want to game stack this up. Value-wise, nothing here in Minnesota. Moving on to Brooklyn, it's the top 2 guards in Kyrie and Harden. Kyrie is back. Harden a little more expensive. I think Harden has a little bit of a higher floor, but again, he's about $1,000 more expensive. If you need the salary relief, I'm fine getting to Kyrie. I expect mid-30s minutes from Kyrie and close to 40 from Harden. So like them both in a great matchup as long as this game stays close. That's the only risk here. Blake Griffin at 5'3", no thank you. The only other guy I think I would consider here is Nick Claxton at 4'2". Has been playing mid-20s minutes. Decent point per minute guy besides the last couple of games. So yeah, if I had to pick a value guy, it would be Nick Claxton. Let's move on to Miami and New York. On the Miami side, no Oladipo still. Goran Dragic probable. If Goran Dragic starts the point guard and there's no minutes limit, I think he's a fair play in the mid-range. Should probably get around 30 minutes. So yeah, would have some interest there in Dragic if he does start. Jimmy Butler and Bam at the top. I know it's not necessarily the best matchup, but Jimmy, again, just been so consistent. I think he's a good cash game play. And then Bam and Adebayo should be able to have his way against his Knicks front court. So the top two guys for the Heat both look good. And then Trevor Ariza for value has been starting. Should get around 30 minutes. A guy that can do it all with the peripheral stats. So yeah, if Ariza starts again, I think he does. I think he's in play for value. Let's move on to the Knicks. So Knicks are an interesting team here because Mitchell Robinson out, and Julius Randle might be out too. Julius Randle is currently questionable. If they're both out, then the front court's going to be Nerlens Noel and Taj Gibson, and both should play big minutes. So I actually would like both those guys a lot for value, assuming Noel starts the 5 and Taj starts the 4. So, yeah, those two guys would be good value plays. Keep an eye on Reggie Bullock news. He is currently questionable. If he's out, then like RJ Barrett and Alec Burks are going to be the clear number 1, number 2 in offense. RJ Barrett played 38 minutes, went for 41 fantasy points. Alec Burks played 41 minutes, went for 49 fantasy points. So these are the two guys that if there's no Julius Randle, even though the matchup's not great, they're going to play massive minutes and get a ton of shot attempts. So those two guys would look pretty good. Quickly at 5'2", did play 26 minutes, but again, I'd rather get to Burks or Barrett if there's no Randle. And Derrick Rose, I think, is in play because he played 29 minutes last game. Again, assuming Bullock's out, assuming Randall's out again, I could see getting into Derrick Rose as well for out. So the Knicks, even though it's a bad matchup, there's some interesting plays here, assuming that Reggie Bullock and Julius Randle are out. Now, if Bullock and Randle are both in, then I'll probably stay away from the Knicks. Moving on to Toronto. So keep an eye on Lowry news. If he's out, it's fine. Going right back to Van Fleet, right back to Pascal Siakam. Both get a massive boost, both in a decent matchup. So yeah, would like both of the main Toronto guys if, in fact, Kyle Lowry is out. OG Anunoby as well, right? He's the guy who's going to play big minutes, played 38 minutes. So those top 3 guys. Gary Trent Jr.'s in play, but we know, again, a little more reliant on the scoring. Had a bad shooting night, so he kind of busted. Was a chalk bust today. Boucher would be an interesting tournament play. Played 24 minutes off the bench. We know he's a really good point per minute guy. It's just a matter of will the minutes be there. So I'm fine taking a shot on Boucher for GPPs. Rodney Hood got some run off the bench. He played 27 minutes. Again, if there's no Lowry, I guess he's viable value play. Detroit, there's really nothing I like here. Jeremy Grant available, and they're just running such a deep rotation. If I had to pick one player, it would be Saben Lee. He started the last game. He played 24 minutes. If he starts again, I think we'll get mid-20s minutes. And at a price below 4K would be a viable value play. But other than that, it is ugly. Memphis, Houston. So like this game as part of a game stack, Jonas Valanciunas for tournaments should play 25 to 30 minutes. We know is a really good point per minute guy. John Morant's guy that should play mid-30s minutes. Besides that last game has been, besides the last game, 55, 34, and 48 fantasy points. Up-tempo game. I do kind of like Ja here at that price. Other than that, though, Memphis, again, they're just running such a deep rotation. So it's like, if you feel really good about only secondary players, you can go there, but I don't really like anything else. On the Houston side, the big news is Christian Wood. If Christian Wood is out, absolutely love Kelly Olynyk at 4-4, assuming he starts. If you played him last night like myself, even though he had a big game, you missed out on a lot of points. He definitely should have gone for 50 plus if he didn't get in early foul trouble in the third quarter and the game didn't blow out. So again, still tilted about that. But yeah, Kelly Olynyk, assuming Christian Wood is out, love him for value. John Wall, either way, again, played him last slate. You got unlucky. 26 minutes, 40 fantasy points. If he plays his 35 minutes, he goes for probably close to 60. So really like John Wall there at the top, especially if Christian Wood's out, clear number 1 in offense. And Kevin Porter Jr. even started alongside John Wall, played 31 minutes. Would be a viable play in the mid-range too. As far as the other value guys, I'm probably going to stay away with Danuel House coming back. So really it's just Wall and Porter Jr. at the top. Wood, if he does play, if Wood's out, it's Kelly Olynyk. How many minutes did DJ Augustine play, actually? 24 minutes. I think you could actually make the argument for him, off the bench at about 20 minutes. If I had to pick one more value, it would be DJ Augustine. All right, we have 5 games remaining. Dallas and OKC. So this game does have some bullet risk, but if it stays close, I really like Luka at the top. Should play again mid-30s minutes. The one concern is blowout. Porzingis, I know he's had big games last couple games. Last game was without Luka, so he's not going to go for 62 again, most likely. Would prefer Luka to Porzingis, but both in play. I think Luka's a little bit safer. The secondary plays are kind of out of play with Luka back for me. On the OKC side, we'll have to monitor the status of Dort and Bazley. I don't think either play. If they don't play, OKC is actually going to have a pretty tight rotation. So Moses Brown at 6.8K. I know he had the massive game last game. He's a good point per minute guy. He had 21 and 23. My worry is foul trouble concerns with Moses Brown. Now that he's a price where it's like, all right, he's going to need a pretty good game. If he gets in foul trouble, he's going to hurt you. So I do have some interest in Moses Brown for tournaments. Again, a little bit worried now that he's priced way up. Maladon with no SGA played 37 minutes. I think he's a fair play in the mid-range just because, again, the Thunder don't have a ton of other guys to play. Sheshki played 31 minutes. Fair option. Isaiah Roby at 5'3", should play about 30 minutes. Kenrich Williams, when Dort went down, played 30 minutes. If he starts, I actually think he's a pretty good value play. And keep an eye on Tony Bradley news, right? If Tony Bradley's available, actually I'm intrigued by him if we get news that he's going to be in the rotation, because he's a good point per minute guy, and would assume we probably get around 20 minutes from him. So yeah, keep an eye on that Tony Bradley news. If he does play and is going to play the backup 5, I actually do like him quite a bit for value. All right, let's move on to Sacramento and San Antonio. So on the Sacramento side, they're still running a pretty tight rotation. De'Aaron Fox has been playing out of his mind recently. 49, 50, 63, and 55 fantasy points. 30, 37, 44, and 36 real-life points. He's doing the peripherals as well. I do like Fox even with this price. He's playing massive minutes. The do-it-all guy. Do like him. Rashawn Holmes, I will tell you, if I play Rashawn Holmes, fade him. If I'm not playing Rashawn Holmes, play him because he will stay out of foul trouble on Crush. Every single time I play this guy, he always gets in foul trouble. If he does stay out of foul trouble, he should play mid-30s minutes and is a good point per minute guy, a good tournament play. Barnes, Hield, Halliburton seems just about right. Value, not much here for Sacramento. I mean, Terrence Davis is at 3-3. He played 18 minutes, but maybe that would be the value guy I would take a shot on for tournaments. Moving on to San Antonio. So normally San Antonio is a team I don't love, but this is a really good matchup. So honestly, I think I have interest in the top 4 guys here. DeRozan, Murray, White, Pirtle. So DeRozan in a close game probably gets, close to 35 minutes. I guess, 31, 32 last couple games of both those games. I'm pretty sure we're blowouts. So I think we probably get around 35 minutes from DeRozan, a guy that can stuff the stat sheet in a good matchup. DeJounte Murray also should get 35 minutes, but a little more up and down. But again, he can do the peripheral stats. Great matchup here. Derek White starting to play consistent minutes, should play mid-30s minutes. And then even Jakob Poeltl should get around 30 minutes. So the main 4 guys for the Spurs all look pretty solid here because of the great matchup. I always still have an uneasy feeling because it's the San Antonio Spurs and Greg Popovich. But hey, you could definitely run a little game stack here if you want to. Like run a couple of those mid-range Spurs with like Fox and Holmes. I don't mind that to get different on the slate. Cleveland, Utah. Oh, man, I don't even want to talk about this one. No Jared Allen, so Larry Nance started the 5 last game. Should play mid-30s minutes. Obviously gets a boost playing the 5, but it's not necessarily the best matchup. Sexton, Garland, if they're going to keep this game close, these are the guys going to have to be so both in play for tournaments. Dean Wade actually played some of the backup 5. He played 31 minutes, a fair value play. Chetty Osman at 4-3, still not getting big minutes. Broderick Thomas, I know I ripped on him a couple of videos ago, actually started. If he starts again, sure, you can use him, but super, super reliant on the scoring, and that's really it. It's just, this is not a fun team. Moving on to the Jazz. Keep an eye on Conley. I expect him to play because it was just load management. If Conley misses, then obviously Mitchell looks good at the top, and then Clarkson and Ingles. But if Conley plays, there's not much here. I'm a little bit worried about the blowout. So, yeah, Utah's a team I don't love right now at the moment. Moving on to Chicago and Golden State. So the top 2 guys for me, it's Vooch, it's LaVine. Vooch should play mid-30s minutes in a great matchup here against Golden State, so do like him at that price. And LaVine, I know he was a little bit banged up last game, but not super worried about it. So those are the top 2 guys I'm looking to. Everyone else, the minutes have been so inconsistent for a lot of these guys. We don't really know what Daniel Tice's role is going to be off the bench. Satoransky lost minutes last game. I'm probably going to stay away from everyone else in Chicago. Moving on to Golden State. So thankfully, Steph Curry, full practice. Looks like he's going to be good to go. If he is, and there's no limit for Steph Curry, I actually really like him at this price. A guy's going to play 35 minutes in a good matchup, and he's at 9-4. So I do actually like Steph a lot if he does play. If Steph's out, then yeah, we can consider Wiggins. Yeah, Oubre. I'm done with that headache, guys. I'm done with that headache. Draymond Green, I know he's been bad last couple games, but hey, he should play mid-30s minutes. With Steph Curry back, honestly, might get a boost, maybe more, potential assist. So it's Steph, it's Draymond, and then even Wiseman at 5'2", he's been playing mid to high 20s minutes. A solid, point per minute guy. So I think he's a viable play there in the mid-range. Finally, Milwaukee and the Clippers. So it's really Giannis for me, and that's about it. Should play, mid-30s minutes. This game should be played at a bit of a faster pace, even though the Clippers are solid defensively. So do like Giannis here at the top. Middleton, Drew, secondary plays for me. I know there's no Bobby Portis, but that doesn't do much for me. Like Thanasis probably will get more backup run at 4K. I'm thinking about 15 to 20 minutes. If you want to take a shot on it, you can, but not really for me. And finally, the Clippers. Clippers still running a tight rotation. Milwaukee plays fast. It's Kawhi and Paul George. I like both. I like both a good amount. Both should play big minutes. So I like both. The Clippers stars a good amount. Kawhi probably a little bit safer than Paul George. Ivica Zubac was in foul trouble last game, but he probably plays around 30 minutes with no Ibaka. A solid point per minute guy. Do have some interest there. Marcus Morris also played about 30 minutes. Reggie Jackson, the last game, played 30 minutes. Like, really, they're running such a tight rotation. Terrence Mann played 30 minutes on the bench. Nick Batum played 35 minutes. So, really, the top two guys are Clippers, but also value because it's basically like an 8-man rotation. So, Kawhi, Paul George at the top, but then Zubac, Morris, Reggie, Mann, Batum, all in play here. All in play. So that's going to do it for the video today, guys. If you haven't enjoyed the content so far, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos live. Thanks again, guys. Have a great night, and I'll see you all tomorrow in the live stream.